It is upgrade time with the BMW 1M. Today we're joined here at the Shmeemuseum by EBC Brakes. We're going to be fitting a big brake kit to this Shmeemobile, a car that I bought with nearly 100,000 miles on it, expecting it to need a lot of work. It turned out that actually there isn't all that much wrong with it. So what we're doing is building it into what we call OEM Plus. We took it for an inspection. We've then installed a Quaife diff. I have to say, it's driving incredibly well. We've taken it to Whoops to paint the wheels in Neodyme gold, a little bit controversial, against the Valencia orange paintwork, but also fitted some new Michelin PS4S tyres. Now, there have been a couple of other things we've done as well, but today is about stopping power, something that in the past, I have to be honest, I tend to get a little bit wrong. Give a car a ton of power and forget that you need to stop it as well. So we've got a full setup that I want to show you through. The guys have come down as well to do this here at the Shmeemuseum in our workshop corner. So let's get cracking on, go take a look at what we've got set and the other small little things we've changed as well on the BMW 1 Series M Coupe. Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's big break time for the BMW 1M. Over here in the workshop corner with the magnificent Dura furniture in use at the Shmeemuseum, we have basically Christmas with some boxes to unpack. We've got the EBC Brakes Apollo Series Performance Brake Kit. So the big brake kit, which consists of the two front calipers, braided lines, new pads, we've got new discs as well for the front, and of course liquid moly brake fluid to go with it. I'm going to open all of that up in just a second because when it comes to brakes on a car, obviously one of the most important things, right? If you can't stop, you've got big problems. And this is a car that it's going to be for driving on nice roads, for the Nürburgring, it's that kind of setup, and we want to upgrade it to something that looks better, gives a bit more stopping power, and is going to give more confidence in the right type of driving environment. So that is the plan today. We need to get this lifted up, get those off, get inside, get it all upgraded. But before that, there are a couple of other things I'd like to tell you about. First up is a thank you to the sponsor of today's video, OBDeleven. Now the OBDeleven device, which I'm going to show you and demonstrate, is absolutely tiny. In fact, we can peel off the film on the front of it. This can be stored easily inside any car. The benefits of it are that you have access to dealership level diagnostics with VAG cars, BMW Mini, Toyota Lexus. You can code various features. And as you know, because I do tons of road trips, we modify the cars, we go to all sorts of different events and things, having something like this on you is very useful to find out anything that might be going on. Now, with the OBDeleven device connected to the OBD reader port, we can tap to scan. This will run through all of the different diagnostics, everything that it can read out, and then it will give us some feedback. And as you can see, we've got 2 faults found. You can click into those. You can see one with the footwell module, which is to do with the lights. We know about that. The other to do with the air conditioning. Again, we know about that one. So those are nice and easy, and then we can clear them. Now then, let's rescan. Runs back through everything. Fingers crossed, no faults detected. Ready to go. Ready to be driven. Wait for it. All done. Searching. Final step. No faults found. Plus, with the OBDeleven device connected to the car, not only do you have the dealer level diagnostics, but you also have access to one-click apps. For example, the instrument cluster test, where we can see whether all of the lights and functionality of the dashboard are all working correctly. Or comfort operation via the key fob, where when you press and hold the button, if you don't have this as standard, you can enable comfort access, lowering the windows directly from the key. If you use my link and the code SHMEE, you can save 15% off your OBDeleven coding and diagnostics tool. Considering how tiny this is, I recommend that you carry one everywhere you go. Thanks to OBDeleven for sponsoring today's video. On to the next upgrade for the 1M. One of the biggest giveaways of the age of this car then is what you have inside here, and that is the steering wheel. If you look at the wheel that we have, obviously the stock standard wheel, this thing has done the best part of 100,000 miles. As a result, it's looking pretty shiny and glossy. Now, the rest of the interior in the 1M has all of this lovely orange stitching. So on the dashboard, trim, on the instrument cluster, on the seats even as well, and on the door card inserts, you can probably see where this is going. So despite having the very nice M stitch in here, the triple coloured stitch, I'm going to be doing a refresh to this. We're going to take this wheel off because it's one of the things that gives away the age. It would be nice to refresh it. The seats, of course, have a little bit of wear to them, but comparatively, the shine of the steering wheel is what really tells the story here. So, inspired by the dark grey Alcantara that we have here and the matching stitch to the Valencia orange paintwork, we need to get this off, and Royal Steering Wheels are going to do a bit of a job of retrimming it to make it significantly better. Fast forward, and the BMW 1M has been living on the Benpack Auto Stacker without a steering wheel. So I've not been taking it anywhere, but very quickly, in fact, I received back this from Royal Steering Wheels. Come and take a look at the new steering wheel for this car. The dark grey Alcantara, we've got the orange 12 o'clock marking stripe at the top, and we've got the Valencia orange stitch as well to match with the interior of the car. Now, I didn't do this as a promo with Royal Steering Wheels. They turned this around super quickly, though, it has to be said. Price was very reasonable, especially when you consider the result. And we're going to get this with the airbag back in this car and see how it all matches up when it's in place. But I got to say, that feels a whole lot more refreshed than it did originally. So let's figure this out and get this back in. All right, steering wheel into position. Make sure that's lined up, wedged. We'll get it out into the light in a second to see this a little bit more closely. And of course, torque it up. Make sure that's going to be held in properly. 62.5 Newton meters for this one. Airbag clicked in with the connectors, and then of course, it should just slot right into place. Nice and easily. There we go. And kind of stating the obvious, the battery is disconnected back here. Don't do any of this with the battery connected. And then we'll get that reconnected now and shuffle it forwards. We have power. All right, fire it up. Cold start sounds really good in this. Pull this out so we can have a better look at it under the light. See what this new steering wheel looks like. Although I tell you, from outside, 12 o'clock stripe looks awesome. Those kind of things are always really nice. As Brad just pulls this forward. Come and take a look at this then. Right. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? I know it's a fairly small thing overall, but just refreshing this and also doing it with a slightly narrower padding as well, which is more my kind of style than the regular chunky BMW steering wheels. But then having the exact same Alcantara here as here, the stitching to match as well. Nice little upgrade that we have done just there. Really, really nice for the interior of this. It feels a whole lot newer already. Can't wait to go drive now. Back to the present day, but one other issue that has been plaguing my car has now been resolved. So we had it over at Evolve to dig into what was wrong with the air conditioning. You might remember that it was throwing up an error, the AC hasn't been working, and ultimately had a temperature sensor that had failed. What's confusing, however, is that all of the guidelines showed you that that goes into the passenger side footwell, but in reality it's on the driver's side. Anyway, that's now been replaced. Thankfully we have AC, that's now working as it should. Come over here with me though, because like I said, this is kind of Christmas, what we've got here, the Apollo Series Performance Brake Kit from EBC Brakes. So let me just open up this box and show you exactly what is inside, because we have, for the front axle, the 6-piston new calipers. These are in stealth black. They're available in a series of different colors. So we've got those looking pretty incredible, it has to be said. Inside here also the braided lines. We've got the blue stuff pads, so suitable for a bit of street, a bit of track driving, which is very much what we've got planned with this. Brake fluid we'll get to, and the 2 new discs for the front axle also. Those are, I think, completely sealed up, so we'll have to unbox those in just a moment. But before they can go on, we need to get this lifted, get the wheels and tyres off, and then, of course, figure out exactly how this is going to go. Up in the air, sitting on jack stands, and of course, step 1, get the wheels off so we can see what we've got under there using the DeWalt tools. Obviously the completely stock setup that this car wears. It's been looked after pretty well over its life so far, but obviously these are going to be coming off. Tell you what's funny though, is how very plain the standard calipers look on there, and the discs as well. These look, yeah, not like the highest tech performance brakes in the world. While the brakes are coming off, we're now here with Josh from EBC. Thank you for coming down.
No worries, thank you.
I figure you're probably best placed to explain everything we've got here. We've unboxed it all. Obviously, calipers, discs, parts and things. Can you talk us through this a little bit?
So we're having a 6-piston big brake kit installed. So that comes with the 6-spot calipers that we have here. So they'll be going on the front to replace what I believe is a 4-piston calipers already. So already giving you the extra bit of
Nothing wrong with taking this off right now?
No, go for it.
Always a fun moment. Peel back some film. These look really nice. Now, I know they could come in a series of different colours, but given we've got the orange and the gold, I decided to go with gloss black.
Yeah,
look nice.
That's good. But yeah, these are all manufactured in the UK in our Northampton headquarters. So yes.
That's going to look really nice when it's on the car shortly. Right, discs, much bigger than standard, but they're also black.
Yes, so yeah, these are a 2-piece floating discs. They come obviously 2-piece, 380mm, and yeah, they come in a black coating. So here where the pad track is, that will go back to silver, but it will stay sort of round here and on the hub to stop it from rusting effectively.
Ah, okay, that's kind of cool. And then presumably all the brackets, bolts and everything.
Yes, yeah, there's brackets, bolts in here. Then we've got pads for the front there, which are blue stuff pads, and then we've also got blue stuff pads for the rear here too.
This is kind of cool. Actually blue. The benefit of Blue Stuff pads is the kind of mix of this type of use, right?
Yes, so they're best for like your fast road use, especially on a car like this, and you can also handle the occasional track day as well.
Sounds good to me. And braided lines?
Yes, braided lines as well, to replace the rubber ones that you have on at the moment. So that should give you a better pedal feel and everything like that. So
this
another upgrade.
All sounds very good to me. Looks the part, more stopping power. This is the Apollo series, which kind of fits at the high end of the line. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, so Apollo series. So we have the 6-piston versions and also 4-piston calipers too.
Okay, nice. Right. Can't wait to see what these are going to look like when they're on the car, surely. This is where we have the problem, right, of the original brakes all a bit seized up. Yeah. Not making life easy for you.
Oh, definitely not. Always the same problem. Any older model of car, these get done up too tight and you can't get them out at all.
Yeah.
So here comes some fun, I suppose.
Well, it's in good hands. The slightly scary but important part of getting these off. Trust the process. Just like that. Easy. Well, easy when you're spectating. Thank you for doing
no
it.
worries.
Meanwhile, inside, to quickly show you, because this is quite clever, by using that, pressing the brake pedal, means that effectively the line is sealed with the pressure on it, so that we don't have any more fluid leaking out than needed, which is quite a clever little solution to this. Our first look at the new disc in place. That's pretty nice in there. A little bit bigger than before, lighter than before though, which is obviously important. Get that in position and lined up for the moment. And very shortly, obviously, start piecing it all together. Next then, test fit for the caliper. Oh yeah, that is looking the part. Nice. That's really smart. Really, really smart. Round to this side, of course. First part of this is actually the bracket that has to go in. Obviously the way this is all mounted and installed in place. When the bracket is in, that is from which the caliper is going to obviously mount onto. Disc going into place. Smooth, easy fit.
Oh yeah.
Straight on.
Smooth, easy fit.
Every time.
Every time.
And then slide the caliper in. Just happens. It's like magic, isn't it? Oh, we've got to peel off that film though. That has to come off. I don't have a free hand. You're going to have to do it. Nice. Satisfying. Obviously pads in for the install. So we've got the pads in place there, which are easy to change as well. So we could even swap them out for track spec pads from the side of the track at some point in the future. Rear wheels coming off as well, because back here we're going to be upgrading the lines, which is all part of the pedal pressure, and of course popping in some new pads to go with this as well, getting everything changed over at the same time. It will stay with the same brake and disc back here, because obviously most of your stopping power is what's up front, but some upgrades to just bring it all into line. Next part of the process then is, of course, brake fluid and bleeding the brakes. So here at the Shmeemuseum, working with Liqui Moly, we have our array of different products, including the brake fluid ready for this purpose. So a little bit of a process, of course, needed now to get everything done on this front, but let's get cracking on. Part of the process, of course, pump up the brakes. All right, wheels going back on. I do like that color combo. I know it's quite striking, I'm gonna say, but it looks good. So rear wheels in place. One on this side is already on, and then obviously fronts to follow. Oh, they do look nice. That looks really nice, actually. It's very, very smart what we've got in there. Ready to pop the front wheels back on. And then, of course, we're gonna have the procedure to bed these in. But first time seeing what they look like behind the wheels, that is a cool looking set of caliper and disc that we have on here now. Yep. Up we go, axle stand out. Get ready to pop this down on the ground.
Go slow, yeah. Yep.
Gently does it. Lower it down. Of course, this is just the solution for the time being. Yes, looks good. Let me grab this one. There we go. That one's out. Ready to slowly go back down. Okay, we'll get started and we'll go take it for the first run. Go get these bedded in a little bit. In the car then with Owen, and it's bedding in time, and I know nothing about this.
Yep, this is a challenge that some people may, obviously, like you said, some people may not know what they're doing. But obviously, luckily for you have some advice by your side, so hopefully we can get this done
So at this point, right, brand new brakes, do I want to be braking firmly, gently? Like what?
So what you want to do as you're obviously slowly coasting, you can start applying light pressure to the brakes. Obviously this will form some sort of friction and obviously some heat displacement around the disc.
Yeah.
And then obviously after a few motions of stopping and starting at low speeds, obviously you can bring the speeds up to obviously road legal speeds, and be careful if there's cars behind you, and we can come on to some harder braking, and from there we'll just see how they progress.
So you want to be doing this type of thing? Building some speed, losing some speed, just kind of. We're lucky we've got a completely empty road here. But
exactly.
Getting a little bit of gentle temperature into them.
Yep, gentle
temperature. It's presumably not good to just
yeah,
crash it straight away.
If you're going to go out, put new brake pads in and go and step on it straight away, you're going to go through pads, you're not going to heat them up properly, and then obviously they're not going to last you very long either.
Okay, so a couple of runs up to 60.
Yep, that's
Need to go
exactly
find a nice proper countryside lane, don't we, and go and like go give the car a run. Tell you what, you feel immediately there's a very firm press on the pedal.
Exactly.
I mean, I presume it must change, right? In the first miles, it must go through a few different feelings.
So obviously as you're applying pressure, obviously while we're driving, the stopping and starting is making the fluid, like the heat change, because obviously you're putting heat through the brakes. So as we're getting more heat through the lines, obviously into the brake calipers, obviously the pedal stiffness will change. Obviously some brakes, you get them hotter, you have nothing. Whereas obviously with a brake kit with braided lines and obviously high level pads, which are for the road, you're going to get so much nicer feel.
It's one of the mistakes I made once before of putting about 200 horsepower extra into a car and leaving it on the stock brakes.
Stock brakes.
And let's just say one Nürburgring lap and brake pedal to the floor.
Game over, yeah.
Literally to the floor. And it's quite an experience when that happens for the first time.
Yeah,
it
can really like set you back and make you realise how much they actually matter.
Yeah, just a little bit. Brakes kind of matter.
Exactly.
You're upgrading a car, modifying. It's one of the reasons why we've done this as one of the first upgrades with this.
Yeah.
Is because whatever you do power-wise, performance-wise, you need to have that stopping power.
Yeah, you always want to stop.
What would be the next thing to do? Do you want to start braking harder?
Yeah,
or
just start braking harder. Now we've done the process of obviously nice gentle speeds and softer. Yeah, that's literally perfect. A couple more of those and we're getting there.
Keep the eyes on the traffic. I don't want to slam on my brakes with the car right behind me. That would not be a good idea.
That's when it is not safe.
So with new brakes, obviously I mentioned earlier as well about the coating on the discs.
Yep.
Because of the way they're supplied. Now that we've got friction between disc and pad, that's changing. What's happening?
So basically what happens is the coating that we put on pads and then the black coating that you're speaking about that goes on the disc, when you're applying pressure to the brake pad, which is obviously then going to apply pressure to the brake disc, what it's doing is combining the two coats together and it sinks into the disc base. Like if you have a shower and you put cream on your hands after a shower, it's going to sink into your skin and obviously make it softer as such, whereas it sinks into the disc and then obviously it will put the non-rust into the disc. So then say if we drive this today, you park it up and it rains, unfortunately, the disc won't rust.
Yeah, okay.
So it just helps with obviously the rusting of disc and obviously the wear and tear. Obviously from the box it makes them look really nice. Yeah. And they're more appealing to the eye.
It's pretty cool actually when you see them for the first time. You look at it and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, and everyone says the same thing. Are they going to stay black? And you're like, you want to say, they'll definitely stay black, but obviously of course they don't. They lose their colour.
Real world gets involved.
Yes, unfortunately so.
So there's a bit of a process obviously while that's happening.
Yes.
And that's what you feel when you're doing the first few miles.
Yes, exactly. Because obviously they make horrific noises from the start, but then like I said, that's the pad friction and the disc friction and all of the materials combining together and obviously come into one as a whole.
Slightly more open road. Use some of the revs. Got some engine temps now as well. It's a surprisingly quick car, this. Give it a tiny bit more power.
Yeah.
And that's quickly why you want the brake upgrades. The standard brakes they're not like anything particularly special.
Yeah, they're nothing special.
Just a off-the-shelf BMW M part, I guess, from the time. It's not the heaviest car in the world, but it is a car that makes you want to drive it in a very sporty way.
Yeah, this is very true.
Makes you want to drop the gear and off you go. Have some fun with it. It's just a good opportunity at 70 miles an hour just to stamp on the anchors a little bit more and also haven't really said, but this is my first time driving with my new steering wheel.
Oh wow.
So I need to just kind of mention that for a moment as well. It's really nice. Yeah, I had it redone with the Alcantara to match the rest of the interior of the car.
Spot on.
I want to show you how the discs look now. Of course, more of a familiar look now that the coating has cleared from it, but what a great result. Really, really nice. Love driving this thing. On those kinds of roads, it is mega. I've been back to base and actually dropped off Owen because I wanted to take the car again out for another run because, and it lights up traction control again. This thing, it just does that without fail. It's quite interesting actually how much it makes you realize that if TC is off, it's going to be squirreling everywhere, all over the roads. But I want to head to some enjoyable countryside lanes to go and heat things up a little bit more. I mean, it's no Nürburgring. At some point, we will be taking this to the Nordschleife, driving it as intended. But even just here, I do actually think that the more I drive it, I would probably like a little bit more sound from it. And I do have a plan in the works for that. Rest assured, it's going to be happening. But still, it's just a really nice car for this type of driving environment, for being on a nice English countryside lane. We have lovely weather today. It's cliche, I know. It's enjoyable when it's not raining here, as we're normally talking about. But to hurtle it down some of these roads, one thing with the 1M that actually surprises me every time is that you don't really appreciate how fast you're driving. 60 miles an hour feels more like 40, 45. So you look down and sometimes it's a bit like, whoa, I'm going how quickly now? It just feels good though. The short throw on the shifter, yeah, traction control, fully lit up. If we put it into Sport, MDM, yeah, let's see what that does for us. Because it will give me a little bit more power, but it will also like to slide around the back a little bit. I do think there's perhaps something to do when it comes to the suspension side, so maybe that's one that's going to be in the works soon. Perhaps I should stop giving so many teasers as to what we've got planned. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just think traction control likes to intervene too much, because that gave me a whole lot of power where before it would have said, nope, not happening. It would not have allowed me to have any fun. I just enjoy cars like this. It's easy to think that in a garage of supercars, you should just want to take out the most powerful, most expensive, this, that, and the other, the thing that will win the top trumps awards. But sometimes you just want to dart the car up the lanes, and this steering wheel is really nice. Slightly narrower makes a big difference, because I just find BMW wheels a little bit too chunky and annoying sometimes, and not perfect for me at least. The way that this car barrels down this kind of lane, it's so perfect for it. It's made so well for this. And I suppose in normal road driving, you're not going to be seeing the benefits of a big brake kit, right? It's something that will really come into its own when driving properly in anger, when on a racetrack, when really pushing on, and when getting more temperature into the brakes. But for here, to have this much fun still down these roads, this is just a little bit bumpy and throwing us all over the place, but still, what a thing. What a cool car. What an absolute riot. And that's what this was always so acclaimed for. It does it so well. Snaking down through these roads until you're behind a van and a trailer. But anyway, I suppose we best get back towards base and go have a final thought on this. 50 odd miles later, we are back. It's certainly a little bit warmer, putting it through its paces, getting these bedded in. But it's a big thanks to Josh and Owen for everything they've done today, doing the brake upgrade. Of course, EBC Brakes, I'll pop the information down below as well. This is actually the same brake kit for the E82 1 Series M Coupe that you also have for the E90, E92 and E93 M3s, which kind of makes sense because it's the same time period. So big thanks to them as well. Of course, something that was part of this project, always planned from the very outset, and now it's going to be a case of what is next. What are going to be the next upgrades after now adding the newly redone steering wheel and the brakes to the wheels and tyres, the information, the inspection, the diff. We've actually done a fair bit with this already, and there is, of course, a whole ton more ahead of us. Don't forget to grab your 15% discount with OBDeleven as well. Information is in the description down below. Big thanks to them for sponsoring today's video and for the different things that you can do with your car as well. That's it for now, though. The next update with the 1M Shmeemobile, but stay tuned for plenty more. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.